Continuing on with part 5, I just uploaded part 4 and looked at one of the comments there from a guy, oh, you don't look disabled. And I think, boy, you know, I've been dealing with that stupidity for so long. I wasn't walking for 5 years. I only really started walking a little bit outdoors with my walker maybe 5-6 months ago. But I'll never get a walk very much. So I told him, well, can you see the prosthesis in my right arm? Do you know what it's like not have a large intestine, and how you can't process food because that's where your body gets all its nutrients from? Your stomach breaks it down, but it goes through your large intestine. It takes 24 hours. Without a large intestine, your health is really, really bad. And go look online if you can find any records anywhere on the internet of anyone surviving having their large intestine taken out. You won't find one. And you think I'm not disabled? You know anything about my left hip being all smashed up? Or my left shoulder being messed up? Or all my ribs being broken so that when I try to move around, my ribs aren't supporting anything? And I'm not disabled, is what you think? I don't look disabled? Do you even, you know what, you could look at many people, and if they're not moving, you can't tell what their disabilities are. And a lot of people that are disabled, you can't tell unless you ask them. And most people judge things by the book's cover, and actually most people don't even open a book anymore. So I was talking about the bankers taking over our society, but that's been happening everywhere. But the world is waking up to this problem. Like the Federal Reserve in the USA, I wrote an article years ago, creation of first corporation to take over the world. And the only way to stop the insanity in this world is to keep waking people up, because whether you're a doctor, or a police officer, or a judge, or whoever you are, until you have a conscience, you know, the world's not going to survive. And the problem is that the free money that the bankers have been producing have corrupted most of society. Most people don't care, man. They're all about image. They got their nice car, their nice house, and they don't contribute anything to the good of humanity. As long as they can lie really good and cheat and make it so nobody next to him, he's also ripping off the system or society. That's what government is. That's what corporations are. That was the warning from the hippies. That was what the hippie movement was about. They were all university students. They weren't druggy and stupid people. They were about love and truth. And they were trying to wake up the world. Well, the governments took it to destroy the hippie revolution. They used military to start shooting kids on campuses. They used media to vilify young people that were just looking for truth and love. And they were the last society of children that grew up in an education system that taught them how to think. Because UN Agenda 21 came into effect then, and they changed the education system to a system that told children what to think. So all these kids now come out of school, they haven't got a clue how to think, but they think they know everything. It's called social engineering. And you go look at the Georgia Guidestones and go read the message on there if you think that they don't have a plan for the world. You know, a long time ago, when I came aware that the insanity around us is so huge, because I grew up in a generation when people had common sense. And common sense comes from sharing truth with other people, and you talk about the truth of what's happening in your society or in the world, and then people would have common sense. And you'd be able to talk to them about different topics. Today, nobody knows any truth about anything because they don't even know the meaning of the word. The social engineering has been going on for so long, it's messing up the whole planet. And I always tell people, I come from a common law country, common law society. But today, I tell people the less common sense a person has, the stranger they get. And everyone today is a stranger. So, one day I'll be dead. Maybe you'll take my videos and teach them in university, when maybe society one day might wake up and realize we've got a really big problem. The trees are dying everywhere. The chemtrailing has been doing that for a while. All those nuclear bombs they tested, all that radiation doesn't go away. Radiation doesn't have a half-life. It doesn't go away. Go learn what radioisotopes are. One little tiny little spark, and you wonder why people drop dead when they're having showers. Or you think government's going to tell you how many people are dying every day? They are telling you, oh, lots of people are dying from cancer. There was no such thing as cancer when I was young. The word didn't even exist. And these guys, boy, they control everything. They control the history. They control the books. They rewrite history. And every time an issue comes up, like 9/11, all the people working there were calling it Ground Zero. And Ground Zero is an expression they use for describing where a nuclear weapon went off. So what did they do after year 2001? They started changing all the dictionaries and changing the meaning of Ground Zero. Go to 9/11 Justice Halifax and go learn how the buildings were built to be nuclear chimneys, and how the big main columns went down in about 7 seconds while the nuke was melting them. Go learn about all the molten steel that was coming out of there even months later. Go see the photos of all the giant crater of all the melted rock there. You know, you're going to be thinking that truthers are nuts all the time until you go and try to be brave by speaking truth. Go find out what it's like to know what's really going on and what's happening in this world and try to tell somebody. See how insane they are. See how dangerous they are and how they accuse you of not being disabled or being wrong. I don't live with hate. I just understand. And I've told lots of people, I've written fantastic stuff about how to think and how to do things. But I tell people in life, always try to understand what is, and never try to understand why something is. If you go into the why, you'll drive yourself insane. So when it comes to the insane, you don't need to understand exactly why they're doing it. You just have to understand to know what they are doing. But there's not a whole lot of old people like me that are speaking up. I think I'm the only one doing it. You know, brave that I am. And I've watched all the old people around me being put in senior citizens' homes and having their houses and cars and properties taken from them. And then they put them in there and they make sure they drug them really good because they have high intellect and they come from a free society and they're intelligent and easy to talk to. They don't want the staff talking to them, so they make sure they're all drugged. And then the family members, especially the younger ones, they look at Grandpa with his hand shaking and whatever, his head shaking and his memory's gone. They don't know what's wrong, and they have names for everything. They don't realize they've been drugged. They're destroying the old generations as fast as they can because they sure don't want the information that the old generation has to come out. I just wonder how long these insane people don't care about any truth about anything. And I wonder, just like, don't they figure out that one of these days insanity, it just can't continue? It just doesn't work that way. Everything in life has two sides. Everything is like the infinity symbol. And in the end, like my grandmother told me when I was a kid, and I only saw her a couple of times, but she changed my life with this expression. She said, you know, Dan, in all the bad experiences you have in your life, always look for something good in it. And boy, did she get my attention, because I hadn't seen anything good at all in my childhood. But she said that to me. She said, no, look for something good. Look for something that you can learn from it to empower you, to make you stronger and better. And that's why I survived the horrible childhood that I had, because my grandmother said that to me. And I'm just looking on my computer screen to see how much time I've been talking for. 8 minutes. 8:45. I'm going to do probably a few more videos like this tonight, because I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day. I'm supposed to go see the social worker on Thursday, way out in Sackville, which is like 3 towns away from here. And I told him, I said, boy, it's a lucky thing I've got a car. I said, how's anybody supposed to get to your other office over there? It's not even in the city of Halifax. It's 50 kilometers away. And they don't have bus service going to that building. So they put community services in a place where anyone that needs it can't get to it. It's disgusting what's going on here. And you should see the nice luxurious offices they have over there. And no one's even there using it. There's hardly anybody in the place. The people inside the government, boy, you want to keep them happy so they don't fight the government corruption? Just spoil them. Yeah, give them what they want. An easy life. Buy them off. It's not working, folks. Community services. My next video I'll do will describe the horror just gone through in the last 30 days of those guys. So that's going to be my next one. So I've got about 3 minutes left on this one. So, you know, I did all the research about the Second World War and what was behind it, and that purpose of that war was to go out and destroy all the countries, so the financial criminals could take over all the societies by controlling the money of those countries. And in the end, when they were done with the military soldiers that were forced to join, they took them out in the middle of the freezing cold Russian winter and let them all die. 1.5 million soldiers. And there was another 1.5 million soldiers, prisoners of war, that were all killed. And Hitler was part of the worldwide takeover. He was a puppet. He never died. He moved to Argentina, lived there till he was 98 years old. There's 3 subs and a big ship sitting in the Argentine River. And the big ship had a big gold crest on it, an eagle. And only recently they removed that gold crest because it was really valuable. And he actually did a video. He died at 98, and he did a video. I saw it on YouTube. He talked on camera. Just before he died, he was talking, and they gave him a farm, and he was just a farmer. It's like Saddam Hussein. There's no proof he was ever murdered. And remember that NATO controls China and Russia. They've been trying to use them to create a third world war. But you know what? When you look at the trees outside that are all dying everywhere, most of the animals are disappearing, everything's dying. Time's up, folks. Not just for me, but for you. Humanity might have a small little window of opportunity to change this around. But the future generations are going to suffer forever with all the radiations coming from Fukushima. Go to my TrueSoldier.com website and go click on the Fukushima things and go find out how that was the same as 9/11. It was all pre-planned. It was all pre-planned. The criminals, they tell big lies, and they tell lies, and they were really big lies, and it's so big that no one can believe they're a lie, and then they just keep repeating them. They keep repeating their lies, and everyone believes them. But remember, everybody's bought off by free money. Nobody has any reason to do anything. Hey, as long as you get that car in the driveway and a nice home and you're living on that credit system, boy, you're happy. To hell with people on assistance, disabled people, and the elderly. Oh, let's get rid of all of them. Nah, yeah. Stay tuned for the, I guess the next one is part 6.